Hey everybody! Now can you guys hear me? Oh, all right. Let me know if you can hear and see me. Hopefully that works. I apologize. I have no idea what happened. I had to switch laptops. It said we were already streaming, which didn't make sense. But let me know if you can see and hear me, and we'll go from there. I will need a second to switch my external camera over. We just roll with it, right? Things happen and we just roll. Just like crafting. Only way to not have it work out is if you stop trying. All right, move it over a little bit. Today, I'm going to be doing a quick intro slash project on inlay. There are lots of ways to do inlay. I'm sure there's somebody watching this that can do inlay better than I can do inlay. So this is by no means the only way to do inlay. This is just the way that I have taught myself. All right, I see Whitney. Everybody else here? I see 13 people, but I want to make sure you guys can see and hear. Everyone good? Question mark. I know there's going to be a delay. All right. Just waiting to make sure everybody can hear and see, and then we will keep going. First off, I'm John Burns. I'm a pro hub here in San Fernando, north of LA. I've been doing stuff with Xtool for quite a bit of time, and a lot of it's self-taught. A lot I have come across amazing people who have taught me more, and we share, and it's amazingly it's really great to have such a 5x5. Not sure what that means, but I hope it's positive. Hey, awesome. Good to see you. Nice to see you again, Matt. I love everything you do. So it's awesome that you're headed to an event tomorrow in Colleyville, Texas. All right, I think that is shared. So everybody knows there's going to be winners. They're going to be notified within 48 hours of the live stream. Scan the QR code to enter, and invite your friends. Let's get this going. I see 20 people. Let me make sure that my camera is working. Switch to room camera. All right, deactivate, activate. There we go. All right. So, like I said, we're going to be doing a inlay. The way I do inlay is, some might say, a little bit of a cheat. Cut the pieces, and then I have a backing. That way, there's something for everything to connect to. With this one, I did a set of butterflies for the last LA event. Cutting the butterfly out of a bunch of different materials, and then mixing and matching and gluing on. My lovely wife glued onto the backing. In this case, it's a mirror acrylic, but there's all sorts of ways to do that. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to, hopefully, if technology cooperates, walk you through my methodology for inlay. And then we're going to do this Mother's Day flower inlay with, again, a mirror backing. This is gold mirror acrylic. And then an outline. And then we're going to choose together what colors we want to go inside of the inlay. As always, ask questions in the chat. If something is confusing, feel free to let me know. There's other experts on this as well, and so they will chime in hopefully and get us squared away. Okay, so here is the code. Let me also share quickly before we jump in. The codes. There we go. So Mother's Day sale is going for another couple days. You can get $50 off any purchase. It stacks 50 off in the US, 70 Canadian off for our northern neighbors. So feel free to use those again for the next couple of days. Those will stack. I believe you can use it a little bit beyond that. But it's a great deal now. All right, so let me, again, I had to restart my computer and do a bunch of other mojo. So let me pull up my Xtool creative space or Xtool Studio, and we will show you what is going on with that. And hopefully I won't have to restart that as well. All right. So Studio is Xtool's native software. You can use multiple machines at the same time with tabs. Discard. All right, it is making me restart. That's just the kind of day it is, which is fine. So inlay, you can do inlay with a lot of different images. I prefer to do inlay with images that already have a border or a boundary. That way, when you do the inlay, you have a bit of a structure behind it. And that helps both with things not being too fragile, but it also gives you something where no matter what colors you choose, it'll pop. All right, new screen. All right. If you have questions about inlay or lessons learned, feel free to drop those in the chat. Let me just catch up. Hey, everybody. All right. Hello, Betsy. Hi, everyone. Hello from Bets. Jerome. Hey, Jerome. I missed that guy. All right. We're going to connect to my my P3, whose name is Xavier. All right. Discard. All right. Sorry for the last minute shuffle. Somehow my laptop did not seem to like the streaming, so I had to switch up laptops. Here we go. All right, yay. Hi from Arkansas. Hey, Naomi. Hey, Stein. How's it going? Good to see everyone. All right. So Xtool Studio. There's hello to Georgia from California. Xtool Studio has a bunch of different different functions. What we're going to be doing with this, what we're going to be doing is using the different outlines and layering them together using different materials that have contrast and build a beautiful image at the end. So I am going to share my screen to show in studio what we're working with, what we're working on, and show the process. Again, if anybody has experience, feel free to put your tips, your tricks inside of in the comments. So here we are. I'm gonna open up our P3. I already have inside 2 pieces of wood. Close it down. It is then going to scan our material. It's going to focus in, and it's also going to show us the workspace. So flash there in green very briefly. That workspace is going to be available if we do anything like smart nesting, and it really takes technology to the next level to make a lot of amazing things. So why I chose these is because they have great grains, and we're going to be using these materials to do the basket. So in the image I showed at the beginning, if you join later, we're going to be doing a basket with tulips with a mirror backing for our Mother's Day inlay gift. All right. So what's great about the software is it's really easy to use. We're going to be moving from top to bottom. When I teach the software, we always move top to bottom and left to right. So we've already put our material in. Ignore the mess. We're flat processing. I'm going to choose the material. We're going to be using a wood, and it's going to be 3mm. The closest Excel has is the 3mm walnut. It's already going to bring in the settings. And I'm going to bring in our design in just a moment once I get it moved over from the computer that I had set up to stream on. So give me a second to do that. And then we're going to take it apart and decide which parts we want to be what material. So here we go. Has anybody done inlay? What's your favorite inlay project? Feel free to drop those in the comments. If you have something you wish you could do inlay with, either materials or setup, please put those in the comments as well. And I will catch up once we get to that point. All right, SBC. All right. There we go. I was set up about an hour ago, and then somehow something happened to my my laptop, so I had to switch to another laptop. So this is not my streaming laptop. This is my demo laptop, so I don't have the file on both. So I'm just transferring that over quickly to my other computer. I'm sure you all, as makers, realize that the first time you try something new, maybe it doesn't necessarily turn out the way that you had anticipated, but if you keep going at it, it will come together. All right, almost there. All right, we got I know it makes for great TV, grabbing a file, transferring it over. All right, Xtool, live stream, Mother's Day. Anybody have any favorite live streams that they've watched so far? I'd love to hear that as well. I've seen some amazing creatives do all sorts of awesome stuff through their live stream. I got to see a bit of the one on doing on-site activation events, and I thought that was pretty incredible. I actually got to meet her at CES and had just so much fun meeting people, getting to know what everybody does differently, and get to share some tips. You know, everybody comes at it from a different way. Everybody has a unique business, and it's great to be able to learn from one another. All right, now that that's in, thank you again for your patience. Let me make sure to see if you all have any. Hey, Monkey Woodworks. Hey, Mrs. Monkey Woodworks. It is great. Oh, inlays for jewelry. Absolutely. Tennessee. All right, we are doing inlay. Great to see everyone. All right, so here is our design. I have a subscription to a service, so it has a bunch of these kind of images. Like I said before, it's great to have ones that have defined boundaries. So you can see with this one, it has both inside parts and outside parts. I drew a line around it and I cut out the middle parts. So these are the parts we've already done. The back is going to be mirror acrylic. We did a backing, and then this is the black acrylic. So the parts that I'd really like to use this wood for are in here. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And then I chose this grain because I thought it looked very baskety. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to find sort of an area that I like the way the grain is going. And then I'm going to release the compound. And then I'm going to remove the parts that are not a part of this. So we're not doing leaves this way. We're not doing the bow this way. So I can just get rid of the parts. I think I want to do 2 parts for the basket. I think I want to do one part that's got the grains going this way and another part that's got the grains going vertically. So this other piece of wood. So I think I'm going to remove these as well. And then I think these are the parts that I want to do with the grain. So then I am going to move these over into spots that I like. So I really like this grain pattern. I think it's going to bring the feeling of it being like a wicker basket. And then I'm going to click cut. I'm going to double check the settings. I think I'm going to up this to 100. I can leave all this on my on there. I can just shift the output to off. So, and then it'll just ignore this. I'm actually going to go back a couple of steps. And grab these other pieces while I'm at it. So these pieces I'm going to use out of this wood. So I'll just move them over. And then these pieces I'll arrange on the grain to make it look sort of basketish, baskety, however you would like to say it. And then we'll move this. So we're conserving this wood. All right. So again, we're going to go to cut. We're going to, I'm going to up the power just a little bit. So 130. Again, the output is going to be off on this other piece. We're going to use that later. And then for these, I really love this cherry veneer. Again, both of these are X-Tool. If you want to use your X-Tool coupon to get a discount on these, there's great deals during the Mother's Day sale. All right, so these are going to be cut out of the cherry. This is going to be cut out of the walnut. Give us a nice basket appeal. and making sure we got the settings. This shows that it's ignored. I'm gonna switch this over to the red layer. That's what I typically do for cutting. And then we're gonna send it to process. As with anything like this that you're you're doing any sort of flammability, you want to stay close by. It's gonna hopefully the cutting is gonna be really fast, but it should show a camera image while it's going, which is great. The X tool has 2 cameras, so it'll take a second to load. All right, so grab the pieces out. I'm gonna switch over cameras so you can see what it's gonna look like in the piece. So hopefully you all can see our outline. Good to see you, Hope. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you again. Yes. Okay. So here we go. We've got our. Let me make sure this is refreshing so you can see what I'm seeing. There we go. All right. So here are the pieces that we just made. And it's just like a simple puzzle. We're going to put these pieces in. So we've got our upper basket. And then we've got our cherry. Just put these in. All right. Here we go. And then we've got this little piece, our wood wicker basket. I also like doing ones that are a little bit easier to see what goes where. So let me grab the other pieces that came out. All right, so we got our little pieces. Again, if you're doing a few of these, it's actually great because you can mix and match. So while I made this black piece, I got a lot of black pieces out of it, so I can use those in another inlay. All right. Here we go. Last piece over here. All right. So you got an idea of what we're working with, and then all right, these are reversed. There we go. All right, and now in the chat, let me know what color you would like us to do the tulips. Or I'm not sure what flower that is. Some flower expert, let me know what flower this is. All right, here we go. So let me know what color you would like us to do the flower. I'm going to be doing leaves while we do that. So I'm going to be adding in green for our leaves. I did get a bunch of pastels, so I do have a wide range of pastels. I'm gonna try and fix our lighting situation. Hopefully that is a bit easier to see. The sun going down. All right, so let me check in on chat and see what are the options. We have iridescent acrylics. We have purples, blues, glitters. I got a few different pastels recently. A peach. I think one that's called Glacier, which is like a pastel teal. We've got reds, blues, yellows, greens. So any of those, I see some purples. Okay. Any other colors besides purple? All right. Let's see if we got any red and pink. Okay, I like that. Glitter. All right, so we've got one. Okay, so let's do glitter for the bow. How does that sound? We'll do a glitter for the bow, and then I see some purples and pinks. So let's start with the leaves, and then we'll do peach. Okay, awesome. All right, let me switch back over and bring you all with me. All right, here we go. All right, so next I put green in. Let me get green and some glitter for the bow. This glitter is my daughter's favorite. So I have gone through quite a bit of this glitter. All right, camera's ready. It's going to update, and then we're going to take the bow pieces and the leaf pieces, just like we did with these. We're going to take those out. All right, let's move this out of the way. There we go. Anybody have any Mother's Day plans? Feel free to share that in the chat. Just like before, I'm going to make a copy, and then I'm going to release the compound. And then the pieces we're going to take for the bow are these ones right here. So I'm going to move these off and then get rid of these other. Oh, I got rid of a leaf. All right, there we go. So we're going to move these leaves, do a nice green for the leaves. Let's get the inside of the bow for our glitter. And then all the rest of this we have already done. So I'm just going to remove that. Okay, so, and we will save these for the next part. So I'm going to change the color, output is still off, and we'll move it off to the side. Okay, so now we're gonna move these leaf pieces over to the side, and then we're gonna cut those. And while this cuts, which is not gonna take very long, I'm gonna grab our pinks, our peaches, and our teals. Okay. Again, I'm gonna turn the output back on, cut. I'm gonna change the material because we're doing acrylic this time. And we're gonna do 3mm. I've not noticed a huge difference with the CO2 machine of the color of acrylic. The thickness matters, but as far as cutting, the color, I've not seen any difference with that. All right, so we've got our bow. All right, just cleaning up our tray a little bit. So we've got our bow. The output is on for all of these. We're gonna click process and turn the output off on these as well. Process, and then it's gonna go by fast. Grab out our pieces. Our leaves and our bow pieces. And then we will add them into our design. I think the hardest part of this is actually deciding colors and gluing it all together. So I'm gonna set aside that. I'm gonna switch over cameras and put those pieces in. All right. So room, here we go. All right, so now we got our leaves. Place our leaves in. Add some greenery to our green. All right, and then again, if you're just now joining us, please feel free to use the QR code to register, get in on the giveaway. $100 gift cards to Xtool, and $100. That's more than enough to get some inlay going on. There we go. All right, so now we got our glittery bow. All right, let me move that a little bit closer so you all can see. So we got our glittery bow and our different kinds of wood and our leaves. All right, final step, onto the flower. I think I'm gonna start with the blush color, which is a peach-ish color. I got a very large piece for this to show bit of the bed size. So this is a huge piece, as you'll be able to see. And I think what I want to do is have the outside of both of them that color. So let me move this over. All right. So I think what we're gonna do is just do these little pieces. And again, it's great. If I was doing a bunch of these, I could use the smart nesting to nest them very closely. Since we're only doing a couple of these. All right, I'm gonna leave the output off for this one. Turn it on for the other pieces. So cutting, output. We're still doing 3mm. And here we go. All right, again, it's great to have this preview because you can see what things need to be switched off. So it's really, really helpful. Gives you a preview, and you can reduce some of that user error that happens. So it's going to be really fast, and then we're going to do the final part of the flower. All right, again, let me switch over. So again, sign up for the gift card. Like I mentioned before, if you just started, there are codes. You can use these with the Mother's Day sale. It does stack. So if you're in Canada, John 70. If you are here in the US, John 50. And again, it's a lot of acrylic for $100. 3 winners, scan and put in your info. And they will email that to you within 48 hours. All right, I've got our flower petals. There we go. And then let me check in on the chat, see how everyone is doing. Remove the QR. Oh, yes, I can do that to see settings. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. All right, hide. There we go. All right, the final one you'll be able to see. Mostly what I'm doing is 90 power, a 20 or 30 speed for the acrylic. It's a little bit of an overkill, but it goes fast. And yeah, any other things in chat? What are we making? We are making a Mother's Day inlay. So it's going to be a flower, a basket of flowers with a nice glittery bow on it. So that's what we were making, Christy. Thank you for asking. Anyone else have questions or want to share about a project you've done inlay for that you're really proud of or that you had struggles with? Feel free to write in the chat. I love interacting with people. Again, if you just joined, I'm John Burns. I'm the co-owner of Creativity Applied, and I'm an Xtool Pro Hub member in just north of LA in San Fernando. Also, if you are near or driving distance from San Fernando, I am going to be doing an in-person inlay class coming up. Feel free to let me know you're interested in the chat, or I will share my info via QR code, and you all can find out when I'm teaching classes if you are local. All right, I'm going to switch over cameras, and we're going to add in those pieces. Here we go. Here's our flower, and I'm going to add in You can see with that black background, there's a great degree of contrast coming from this. All right, so this is our blush acrylic. Here we go. And then, here we go. Let me move this a little closer to y'all. So there we got our blush and our glitter bow, and then our two different kinds of wood. It's a little hard to see online, but the grain, the way we've done the grain, it looks sort of like a wicker basket. All right, we are on to the final phase. So I think people said purple and pink or turquoise. So I think we're going to do one of these purple and the other one we'll do turquoise. So I'm going to grab the acrylic, get it in our P3. Purple. I'll do purple and red. All right. It is great how easy it is to cut so many different things with the P3. All right, let me move these over. Gonna ignore this. Output off. And then wait for the light to turn green. Close that down. I think that's a hard habit. So the one on the left is be a red mirror acrylic, and the one on the right is going to be purple. Hopefully you all can see the settings. So we're going to be cutting these out, and I'm going to be doing 90, 90, 20. Make sure that everything else is off except for these two. Cut, output on. All right, process. It's going to let me know if I missed anything. Nope. And then we're going to start 28 seconds. And I actually just remembered something. Since I am back cutting the mirror acrylic, I'm actually going to, I think it's symmetrical, but just in case, I just flip that one. If you're doing lettering or anything like that, since you're back cutting and back engraving, you do have to mirror it. All right, here we go. All right, let's get back to our camera. So I think Barbara asked for red. So we've got a red mirror acrylic. It's gonna go in. All right, got a bit of pop to that, and then gonna peel the purple. Again, any questions, ideas, if you have interest in doing an in-person class in San Fernando, California in the next couple of weeks, please let me know. I would love to teach more skills and learn from other people's experiences. Again, we have the Mother's Day sale. We got a couple more days. The coupon will stack with that, the John 50 if you are in the US, or if you are in Canada, John 70. And I'd love you all to sign up for the giveaway. All right, so here is our final. Again, gluing isn't glamorous, but here is our final flowers. Again, there's so many possibilities. So we got a dark purple. We've got the grain, the wood grain for the basketry and the glittery bow. And you're really only limited by your imagination, what you can do with inlay. So I'm going to check in on the comments, see if people have questions. Okay, so I removed the QR code. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you guys like it. What classes do I teach? So I've taught lots of classes. People had a lot of interest in the inlay class because of the butterflies that we had at the Renegade Fair with X-Tool coming. I really, really love this this X-Tool Ripple iridescent. Anyway, so classes I teach. I've taught classes on inlay, box making. I've done individual classes on getting ready for events. So sort of like what Oma was talking about in her live stream, getting people prepared, creating jigs. So really, anything that I know that I can explain, I'm happy to teach via class or other ways, online or in person. All right. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to throw up that QR code. It is really, really helpful if everybody signs up, even if you don't want a $100 X-Tool gift card. I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but this helps X-Tool track these endeavors and make decisions about, how to continue to grow the community. And so I would love to keep doing that with them and answering questions that you all have. So feel free and use that QR code. I'm going to very quickly move a light over. Hopefully that'll help to see this, because honestly, the camera is not doing it justice how it actually looks. So let me grab some lighting while you guys use the codes, the John 50 in the US, the John 70 for our Canadian people. There we go. Let's see if that helps us at all get some. Okay, a little bit. All right. Trying to help y'all see the colors. There we go. A bit more mood lighting. And then the red acrylic is really pretty awesome. All right. I'm going to do one last look at chat, see what questions I can answer. Again, John 50, John 70 if you are shopping at the Canadian store. Thank you all for coming, checking out this acrylic inlay. Like I said, it seems complicated, but this is one of the first things that I learned when I was teaching myself lasering stuff like seven-ish years ago, back when X-Tool was a baby. All right, let me check in on chat. Thank you guys for coming. Yes, the glitter is really pretty. Treasure box. Yeah, I have a friend, called Diedrich von Nom Nom. Inlays glued. Okay, yes, that is a good question. So I'll just show you. I didn't really, because I had some technical difficulties. I didn't get to the gluing stage. I use liquid fusion. So this is a glue that can glue wood and acrylic together. Things like crazy glue or super glue, if you get it on acrylic, and it can actually crack the acrylic. I learned that the hard way. Hey, Sam, good to see you. Hopefully we can connect soon. And then I have a bunch of these clamps. So once you get your inlay set up, you can tape across the front of it. So everything's in the way you want it. Tape off the top, flip it over, and then you can apply your glue. I've got these amazing silicone glue things. Again, my wife's the glue expert. And I have this glue keeper, which is really easy to clean out. So yeah, tape it, flip it, add glue, and then clamp it and let it dry overnight. All right, any other questions that I can answer? I have not used double-sided adhesive. I know of others that have. That would add an extra step because I get my acrylic without adhesive on it. Okay, what's the type of glue? It is called liquid fusion. I did a bunch of research to find this as well. It says performance 222. Let's see if it's got another name to it. So another way you could look it up is Aleene's liquid fusion. And so that's ALEENE''S. And this is clear urethane. So Aleene's liquid fluid fusion. But I did a lot of research and messed up a lot of things finding out what wouldn't work. So I am glad to pass that on to you, especially the crazy glue cracking. My wife still talks about that. We ruined a bunch of amazing ornaments that way. All right. Well, it is great to see you all. Stay tuned. X was a lot of amazing other streaming that's going to be coming up. If you have questions or suggestions for Xtool, feel free to reach out to them and let them know, what you want to see, what would be helpful. And like I said, you got 2 more days for the Mother's Day sale. And hopefully 3 of you will get some $100 gift cards that you can get your own inlay materials with. All right, I will see you all next time. Actually, I forgot one last thing as people are leaving. I'm not sure if you'll be able to scan this, but if you are interested in online classes or in-person classes, feel free to scan my dot card and send me exchange info and send me a comment that says like inlay class or that you're interested in learning more about what we're doing and how you can do things better. And I love learning from you all. All right. Thank you, Thank you, Thank you, Monkey Woodworks. Thank you, everybody who's commented, Barbara, and all the other wonderful people that do demo room hosting like I do, or that share their creativity in other ways. And we will see you next time. Have a great evening.